Before the video starts, I just want you guys to know in the description below is going to be the article for the Infinite Esports debt that's going to be talked about in this video, as well as the Eavesdrops podcast in which they talk about. I talk about it in the video, but it goes in depth with the actual podcast. I want you guys to comment down in the comment section below how Optic has changed your life, and let's get into the video. What's going on, guys? Kando here, and if you are a gaming fan or if you've been in the gaming community for a decent amount of time, you obviously know the brand Optic Gaming, and by the title, they're essentially being sold or they're about to be sold off. So if you guys don't know, it's been happening for a couple of months now where Optic kind of sold to a bigger brand, and then, you know, Hex kind of lost a lot of his shares because he sold his shares based off of, like, trying to earn money for his other players to open up, like, let's say a league team. So he opened up and branched out. He just trusted the wrong people, essentially. That's what a lot of people are saying. So let's get into why Optic's being sold and if they actually are, in fact, going to be sold. So if you guys don't know, Optic sold to Infinite Entertainment, and Immortals has been trying to actually buy out the rest of the shares of Infinite, and they're trying, because Infinite wants to get out. They said, listen, we're going to sell our shares, and they're kind of at a bidding war with Hex and, well, it used to be Optic J. If you guys don't know, Jay actually kind of backstabbed Optic in a sense because he works for Immortals, and they're trying to outbid or actually buy out Hex's Optic Gaming. So what they're trying to do is just kind of trying to liquidate Optic or Hex in general out of Infinite Esports completely. So Immortals is essentially buying the brand, and they're trying to liquidate Optic one by one. So we'll get into that later, but I just want to talk about that. So if you guys don't know, Immortals has opened up the bidding at $30 million for the 51% sharing of Optic, or trying to buy out that 51% share. And Hex has said, listen, I don't have $30 million to put up without, you know, having to essentially kind of lose the life he lives right now. He wouldn't be able to actually be able to sell that $30 million or buy those $30 million worth of stocks. That's just the base number, by the way. That could go up because Immortals has a decent amount of money. They haven't really been in any of the other communities besides CSGO and a couple other games. They kind of lost their League of Legends spot. If you guys remember, they used to be a League of Legends team. But they actually got disenfranchised. They didn't actually, or defranchised, I don't know what the word would be, but they weren't picked for franchising in the League of Legends community, so their owner was a little upset about that, so he wants to get back into that. He wants to buy out that league team as well. So back on Jay, Optic Jay actually became the president of Immortals, or he runs a part of them, so he actually is a big part of that, and he's actually essentially kind of in a bidding war with his best friend. And I'm going to link the Eavesdrop video or the podcast below so you guys can listen to the entire thing and how he talks about what's happening. So what's going to end up happening is if they lose, right? So let's just talk about if they win. If they somehow win this bidding war, I would say that Optic kind of just stays the same. They essentially stay the same. They're paying their content creators. They pay their players. It's simple. They kind of just stay the same. They right the ship, and they stay the same course that they've been trying to do, and that's branch out into other games and branch out into other communities. So let's just talk about if they lose. Losing is a bigger aspect of this whole entire situation. If they end up losing, they're actually going to lose their COD team, because it's already been said in the statements that I'm going to have linked while I'm talking. You're going to actually be able to read all of them. It's actually said that they're going to be sold, and their COD team as well would end up being sold separately. So what's going to happen is they might actually play Anaheim, which is coming up in the summer. They might play Anaheim under a completely different org. Nobody really knows right now if Optic's going to be able to stay Optic until Anaheim. So if that ends up happening, they're going to be under a completely different org, and then eventually they're going to sell each player individually and then sell the league spot. That's the whole aspect of what they're trying to do for the CWL. That's actually kind of crazy. So Scump is going to be sold, Crim6 is going to be sold, Karma is going to be sold, Dashy will be sold, and then the last but not least, obviously, is TJ Haley. So that's going to end up happening where they all get sold, and then they liquidate that COD team. I think they're also trying to get rid of complete console esports as well, so be on the lookout for maybe Gears of War also being liquidated and just going to stop completely paying them whatever it is. They're just going to stop doing console gaming, because I know that was a big talking point for Immortals. Now let's get into their content creators. So Hitch, Maniac, Embos, Flamesword, all of them. So they just recently moved into a new Optic house. Now that's going to be really weird, because what's going to be on screen is actually just the whole entire, most of the video, most of the screen is going to show this one tweet from COD Intel, and they're a reliable source. So what's going to kind of happen is, one by one, the COD team will be sold, and then these other creators, if they want to stay in the house or if they want to stay in their apartments that they have, they're going to have to pay for it themselves, and they're not going to have a salary from this team. So essentially, they're going to have to pave their way, or pay their way, I should say, not pave. They should pay. They're going to be paying their way to stay on the team and staying in that location, because it's going to be too expensive for the other organization, Immortals, to be paying all of these content creators for content that they don't really even dabble in. So that's actually a big thing too. Even Crimsix, I'm going to show a picture on screen, and Crimsix says that he plays for Hector's Optic Gaming. So Optic Gaming was sold, obviously. So he's trying to, dig at the other corporations and saying this is Hector's team, this is Hector's baby. So it's kind of sad, but all good things must come to an end. I just didn't think that it'd be Optic, the biggest brand in Call of Duty, almost the biggest brand in all of esports. I mean, you look at esports, you think of FaZe, Optic, TSM. Those are the staples. Then you have 100 Thieves that's doing really well. Nate Shout's really thriving with 100 Thieves. So that's kind of crazy, honestly, that we could honestly lose Optic, let's say tomorrow, for instance, or we could lose them within the week or within the month. So stay tuned. If Optic does end up selling, I will make a video on Optic being sold completely, and also talk about what's going to be happening. So hopefully you guys enjoyed the video. If you did enjoy the video, leave a like, comment, subscribe, all that great stuff. My name's Kando. If you guys are a big Optic fan, I'm sorry. I'm a huge Optic fan, and I'm kind of pissed about it. So hopefully you enjoyed the video. If you didn't, I'm sorry. It's kind of a down note. It's kind of a low-key video about just talking about it and how bad it could actually come to be. So hopefully you guys enjoyed the video. My name's Kendo. I love you guys, and peace.